Hey, Spirit Warriors, listen closely. Something has shifted in your favor and you can feel it. Ever felt like the entire universe had its eyes on you, watching every move, every tear, every silent prayer, like you were under divine surveillance? Let me tell you about Maya. She was overlooked, underestimated, and often mocked for believing in things no one else could see. She'd whisper affirmations in the mirror, write gratitude letters to a future that hadn't come yet, and kept showing up even when the odds screamed at her to quit. Maya wasn't flashy, she was faithful. And one day, it all clicked. Her prayers weren't just heard, they were answered. Doors opened. Opportunities fell into her lap. Peace showed up uninvited. Her breakthrough didn't come with fireworks, it came with confirmation. Whatever you did, Maya, it worked. Chosen ones, you are Maya. The battle's over. The lessons learned. The reward already on your table. You won. But what did you do exactly to shift dimensions like that? Why now? And how do you keep this energy flowing? As Rumi once said, what you seek is seeking you. That blessing you were chasing, it's been chasing you. Stick with me, Spirit Warriors, because this video is your mirror. Everything in you that was once hidden will now be revealed. Every tear you cried was not in vain. Watch this video till the end, because what we're about to break down will keep your spirit awake and anchored in truth. It's not coming. It's here. It's not pending. It's yours. Whatever you did, it worked. Point 1. The shift was spiritual first. Chosen ones, this one's for you because what you carry isn't ordinary. Before anyone clapped for your success, before any door opened, before the blessings started pouring in, there was a battle, and it wasn't visible to the naked eye. The true war took place in the spiritual realm. You weren't just hoping for change or wishing on stars. No, you were warring in the spirit. You fasted when no one knew. You cried in silence. You praised God when everything looked broken. While others manifested with vision boards, you went deeper. You spoke life into the very places where generations before you had buried their dreams. You didn't just want a breakthrough, you became one. That's the power of submission, not to the world, but to the divine will of God. You broke cycles by obeying promptings that didn't make sense in the natural. You walked away from situations that looked comfortable but weren't called. That wasn't weakness, that was spiritual discernment. Obedience became your weapon every time you chose peace over pettiness, every time you forgave instead of retaliating, every time you believed instead of fearing. You were in battle, and you won. Science tells us that our minds are wired to respond to repetition and intention. But in the spiritual realm, intention is amplified by surrender. You didn't just try to attract blessings, you aligned with your divine calling. That's why things are shifting now. It's not random, it's not coincidence. Heaven recognized your frequency. Your prayers had a signature, a tone that pierced through the noise. Angels moved, portals opened. The world is now catching up to what you and heaven already agreed upon. Your surroundings are starting to look like the spirit realm you already conquered. The job, the peace, the healing, the restoration, it's all showing up because your soul upgraded first. The physical realm is slow to catch up, but it always does when the spiritual is settled. So don't let anyone call it luck. That shift you're experiencing, that favor you're walking in, that's not luck, that's alignment. You didn't just manifest. You submitted, and that submission shook the heavens and set things in divine motion. Now you're reaping what your spirit sowed long ago. Keep walking, chosen one. The world is only beginning to see what heaven already knew. Point 2, you healed without closure. Real talk, angels. Closure is a luxury many chosen ones will never receive. And let's be honest, that can hit like a punch to the gut. We grow up believing that every emotional wound deserves a heartfelt apology, a clear explanation, or at least a mature goodbye. We're sold this idea that closure is the final piece of healing, a neatly tied bow on the chaos we survived. But for those who walk a divine path, closure rarely comes gift-wrapped. Instead, it's built from the ashes of what was never said, never fixed, and never made right. And you? You didn't wait around for an apology. You became your own healer. Let's talk facts for a moment. Studies in psychology, including research from the Journal of Positive Psychology, show that people who can find internal closure by choosing peace without external resolution tend to recover faster emotionally and even live longer. That's right, Angel. Forgiveness, when practiced intentionally, lowers cortisol levels, improves heart health, and increases psychological well-being. So when you chose to forgive those who never took accountability, you weren't being weak. You were engaging in elite-level spiritual and emotional intelligence. While others were busy crafting narratives to dodge their guilt, you were up at 2 a.m. turning heartbreak into hope through prayer. You transformed bitterness into boundaries and confusion into clarity. That is kingdom behavior. You didn't chase people down for answers. They couldn't give you what they didn't have. Instead, you chose silence, and in that silence, heaven spoke. You didn't retaliate with pettiness, you responded with purpose, and guess what? The heavens took notes. Every private cry, every tear you refused to weaponize, every storm you walked through without losing your character, that became your testimony. And let's not forget, while they were watching to see you break, you were breaking generational cycles. They thought your silence meant defeat, but it was your strategy. They didn't realize God had you in a season of divine redirection. You didn't just move on, you moved up. You walk now in a peace that confuses them, a glow they can't duplicate, and favor they can't access. So no, you didn't get closure. You got something infinitely more valuable. You got transformation. And that doesn't require a conversation, only a decision. You made it, angel. You chose grace when you had every reason to go off. You chose healing when pain begged you to retaliate. That is divine power. Keep rising. Your crown isn't for public approval, it's for heavenly assignment. And those who tried to break you, they only helped build you. Point 3, you kept planting when nothing was growing. Oh, how frustrating that was. You poured your heart into dreams, invested endless energy in people, and lifted countless prayers over and over again, only to feel like you were staring at emptiness. No signs of progress, no visible fruit. It's as if you were shouting into the void, hoping for a response that never came. But oh, chosen one, here's what those around you might not understand. While they saw nothing, God was working in the unseen depths. This was root work, the crucial, often invisible phase where the foundation for greatness is laid. Think about a mighty oak tree. It doesn't just shoot up overnight. For years, its roots spread wide and deep beneath the surface, unseen and unnoticed. It's these roots that nourish, stabilize, and prepare the tree to grow tall and strong. Your journey has been just like that. What looked like waiting, stagnation, or even failure was really a divine preparation period. The seed you planted didn't wither or die. It was quietly gathering strength underground, readying itself for the day it would burst forth. Faithfulness during famine is no small feat. It's tempting to give up when there's no immediate reward, when the path feels dark and the future uncertain. But this is precisely when character is forged. Building in the dark means working on the internal growth, refining your spirit, developing resilience, and gaining wisdom. You've been building quietly, steadily, like a craftsman perfecting a masterpiece behind closed doors. And now, the harvest is not just coming, it's overflowing. The abundance might even feel embarrassing in its magnitude because it's so much more than you ever imagined. You who stayed faithful in those silent seasons are now reaping the reward of that hidden labor. Your perseverance has turned into prosperity, your patience into plenty. So whenever doubt creeps in, remember that the most powerful growth happens unseen. The roots are often where the real miracles start. Your journey proves that faithfulness in the dark leads to dazzling light. The wait was not wasted, it was a sacred preparation for a harvest beyond measure. Point 4, you chose God over approval. This one cuts deep, doesn't it? The people you once laughed with, cried with, and made plans with for the future, the ones who felt like family, turned out to be just passing characters in your story. And that realization, it doesn't just sting, it shakes your soul, because you thought they were your forever, your ride or die tribe. But growth, real, painful, soul-stretching growth, rarely comes without sacrifice. You didn't just lose friends, you lost a version of yourself that was built around pleasing others, dimming your light and sacrificing your truth for their comfort. You stepped out of the familiar, out of that circle where everyone knew your name, but no one truly saw your depth. You walked away from the clout, the empty validation, the surface-level applause that made you feel temporarily important but ultimately hollow. And the boldest move? You stopped shrinking. You stopped molding yourself to meet the expectations of people who never had the range to understand your calling in the first place. You chose integrity over popularity, substance over spectacle. And yes, it cost you. People ghosted, some mocked. Others acted confused by your change, as if growth was betrayal. But here's the twist that the world never sees coming. While they were whispering behind your back, God was working on your behalf. Heaven doesn't require a spotlight to bless you. The divine promotion happens in silence, in obscurity, in the trenches where no one is cheering. It's like the roots of a tree growing deep and strong underground before anyone ever sees a single bloom. And then, one day, bam, the fruit appears, the glow is undeniable, and the silence from your doubters, deafening. Suddenly, the same people who dismissed you are squinting at your shine. The places that overlooked you are now begging for your voice, your energy, your vision. But it's not because you chased approval, it's because you aligned with your purpose. And what followed wasn't just success, it was overflow, not just in wealth or recognition, but in peace, clarity, and divine confidence. The kind of power that doesn't need to brag because its presence speaks volumes. So yes, it hurt when temporary guests wore the mask of lifelong friends, but that sting, it purified you, it refined your focus, and it cleared space for those aligned with your destiny, not your history. In the end, your rise isn't revenge, it's revelation. A light so real, even your enemies can't deny it. Point 5, you spoke life when you felt dead inside. You know what's wild? You were the encourager while you were secretly breaking. Think about that for a moment. How often did you put on a brave face to uplift those around you, even when inside you felt like you were crumbling? You became the rock for others, the voice of hope in their darkest hours, while no one seemed to notice your own silent battles. That kind of strength isn't something you just summon from willpower or sheer stubbornness. It's something deeper, something transcendent. It comes from the source, the divine power, God, or whatever you believe in, as the universal energy guiding life. This inner reservoir of resilience where you kept going despite the pain is not humanly ordinary, it's spiritual. You smiled, you prayed, you hoped, all in quiet defiance of your circumstances. That ongoing faith, even in times of doubt, wasn't just for yourself. It sent a powerful signal to the universe, like a beacon flashing. This one's ready. And here's the fascinating part. The universe, or God, always responds to that kind of energy. It's a cosmic dance of intention and manifestation. When you keep showing up with unwavering faith and silent strength, you shift your energy field and suddenly life begins to bend in your favor. Science even supports this to some extent. Studies on the power of positive thinking, prayer, and meditation show how they can physically change brain chemistry, reduce stress, and improve resilience. Your mindset literally alters your reality. The energy you radiate shapes how people respond to you, how opportunities find you, and how obstacles transform into stepping stones. You weren't just surviving, you were quietly building a foundation for a breakthrough. So the next time you feel worn out from being the encourager, remember this: you're powered by something bigger than yourself. Your endurance and compassion are proof of divine strength working through you. You're not just getting through life's storms, you're signaling that you're ready for greater things. And the universe is already moving to meet you there. Keep shining, keep praying, keep believing. Your breakthrough is already unfolding. Point 6, you let go of what you wanted for what you deserved. Oh, Spirit Warrior, the sacrifice you've made is nothing short of monumental. You've courageously released the heavy chains of toxic relationships, those bonds that once seemed familiar but slowly drained your energy and dimmed your light. It wasn't easy to say goodbye to people who had been part of your story, yet you chose to prioritize your peace over comfort. You let go of old identities, the versions of yourself that felt safe, predictable, but ultimately stagnant. Maybe that meant shedding roles, habits, or beliefs that no longer served your highest good. This process of unburdening is often misunderstood. It's not about losing yourself, but about shedding layers to reveal the truest, most powerful you. Leaving behind jobs that stifled your creativity or growth, stepping out of situationships that held you in limbo, or saying no to environments that fed your fears. These are acts of bravery fueled by a deep, soulful calling. Your soul craved elevation, a yearning not just for success or status, but for authentic expansion and freedom. Scientific studies on human psychology show that people who make such conscious shifts experience a profound increase in life satisfaction and emotional well-being. This happens because you are aligning with your intrinsic values and highest self, rather than clinging to comfort zones that breed complacency. Now, as you walk into the new chapter of your life, you are no longer settling for crumbs or shadows. You are stepping fully into what you deserve: joy, abundance, peace, and purpose. This transition feels so right because it is divinely orchestrated. Neuroscience tells us that when our actions align with our core values and sense of purpose, our brains release dopamine and serotonin, chemicals responsible for feelings of happiness and ease. This biochemical harmony explains why your journey, though challenging, feels so effortless and ordained. Remember, Spirit Warrior, this path is a sacred one. Every step you've taken away from what no longer serves you has been a step toward your soul's true calling. The sacrifice was real, but so is the reward. You are rising higher, not by chance, but by the unwavering strength and faith you hold in your heart. This is your divine ascent. Embrace it fully, for you are exactly where you're meant to be. Point 7, you didn't quit. Let's just sit with that for a second. You didn't quit. Think about it. In a world obsessed with instant gratification and quick wins, the simple act of not quitting feels revolutionary. When the nights were long and the answers silent, you stayed. You trusted in something bigger than the immediate, something unseen but deeply felt. You grew in the shadows where no one was watching. The grind was quiet, the progress slow, but you kept showing up anyway when it didn't make sense, when every fiber of your being begged for rest or retreat. That kind of perseverance isn't luck. It's not a random stroke of fortune or a coincidence. It's a calling, a deep, unshakable purpose that pulls you through the uncertainty. You weren't just hoping for success, you were answering a higher summons to grow, evolve, and become more than you were yesterday. The seeds you planted in the dark, watered by your dedication and resilience, are now blossoming before your eyes. Your consistency was your covenant. Imagine this. A covenant is more than a promise. It's a sacred agreement, a binding commitment. By showing up day after day through doubts and setbacks, you made a pact with yourself and your future. This wasn't just about hustle. It was about faith in the process and trust in your own potential. Your endurance, your ability to withstand the pressure and push forward, became undeniable evidence of your strength and resolve. Science backs this up too. Studies on grit and perseverance reveal that consistent effort often outperforms raw talent. Psychologist Angela Duckworth's research shows that passion and sustained persistence are key predictors of success. Your journey exemplifies this truth. It's not about who starts strongest, but who finishes strongest. So when you finally see the fruits of your labor, know it's because you stayed when many would have walked away. You've built something real, grounded in faith, effort, and unwavering consistency. That's why it worked. Not because the world handed you a win, but because you earned every bit of it. And that, my friend, is a legacy worth celebrating. Spirit warriors, hear me. You don't have to chase anymore. You don't have to prove, perform, or beg. What is yours has found you. Heaven stamped it. Earth approved it. The Spirit confirmed it. So walk like it's yours. Breathe like it's yours. Love like it's yours, because it is. Whatever you did, it worked. You won, chosen ones. Stay awake. Keep your oil full. Don't look back. The promise is here. The journey was worth it. And the world, it better get ready, because you have arrived.